chains, through battles waged and fought, through victory and pain, by test of their courage, our freedom was gained. In homage to those gone before us, the heroes of lands in the sun, we vow to join hands and to focus on building one Caribbean. Raise your voices.
Welcome brothers, welcome sisters, welcome to our program On Target. And as usual, as soon as we start this program, you can have the opportunity to pick up the telephone and give us a call. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything. Politics, religion, socio-economic issues, any topical issue of the day, any issue trending. You know, on Sunday we had the Ascension of the Lord. It's a very important period in the life of the Catholic because we're working on to Pentecost, and Pentecost is like the beginning of the church. And it also was World Communication Day, the 56th World Communication Day. And the Pope declared the theme to be listen. One word, listen. He thought the pandemic has affected all the world. It has affected everyone. And everyone needs to be heard. When these things happen, these outstanding individual says these things, I like to practicalize it and bring it home. One of the challenges we have in our own home, we don't listen to one another. We don't listen to one another. We seem not to be communicating, not to have discussion on a number of issues. You have young people end up in a relationship and it seems that they're planning for a year. Why not 100 years? Why not our elders in our society? You would have experience. Obviously, we didn't get it right. But maybe now, based upon the experience you have, you could articulate new position and encourage people to hold discussion in their homes. You can discuss any issue, politics too. What's about the economics of the home? What's about education, sports and culture? We can discuss any topic. And if you start that culture and we listen to one another, when we're in communication outside, we will also listen. And caller, I'm listening to you, punch.
Yes, sir.
Go right ahead and punch, man.
I wanted to go to shine on the ball, man.
Yes, man. The new ball, you always have to get the shine off.
The time is counting now. And it's a very exciting time. Everybody going to the camp now. But I believe that the new national party is the only answer to Grenada. And who are eyes to see, let them see, because Grenadians cannot take chances. Election, this is serious business.
Why you believe they cannot take chance in the opposition?
Because we prove the NDC, we prove the NNP has been proven and tested and they deliver. We haven't got that kind of track record of the National Democratic Congress. The National Democratic Congress said that they make a new party. I don't believe the idea changed. You know what I will see happen? And I want to tell the nation, the NDC will disappear after this election. Because every 5 years, NDC is having a brand new leader. That means to say something is totally wrong with this party. So I believe after the victory of the new National Party, right now, I don't even next caller will support me. That will be the end of the NDC. They have to get a new name, a new party, and a new leader once again. I don't know who wants to agree with me. That's the end of the NDC after this election, because 12 new candidates, every 5 years a new leader. Something have to be wrong. Grenadians, open your eyes. The youth is enjoying a good time with the NNP. The NNP listen to the youth, and the election depends on the youth. So I don't know if you agree with me, but I'm saying this election will determine the future of the NDC, and I believe that will be the end of them. I thank you.
Yes, my brother, you're welcome. Yes, we always have to have discussion. The politics is hot in the country. We have a countdown. You're welcome to change the topic, but if you want to stick with politics, it's all right. Over the next couple of days, we expect our program will be hot with different political views and political opinion. I always encourage people to know why you're doing things, why you support a political party, why. You know, we could sit down and speak about the NNP or the NDC, but you must know why you're supporting that political party. It's important because Malcolm X warned us. He said the media, the fourth estate, could make an innocent man guilty and a guilty man innocent. And as we listen to the social media, they camouflage the truth. Sometimes they take little pieces from from people's presentation or conversation over a period of time, and they join it up and present it. They distort the truth. Sometimes they can have app that could show you a picture that you might look at when you become 90 years. We have a caller on the line. Caller, I'm listening to you.
Yeah, brother, how you doing?
Great, man.
The reason why I'm supporting the NNP right now, maybe if I was an NDC, I would have supported the NNP right now, because I'll tell you what, when I look at the international situation, the situation in the world today, the uncertainties of man's existence in this world today, you understand? The NDC, in my opinion, the NDC, in my opinion, you understand, is trying to find their footing. They are trying to establish themselves as a party. You understand? And they're just a political organization. You understand? They have never been in government. The group of people who are there, they don't have the experience. Nobody there has really been in opposition in the Parliament of Grenada. You understand? Now, on the contrary, the NNP has been there. You understand? And the NNP for the past 4 years, 5 years, they have done a tremendous job with the limited resources that they have. We had a period of what we call COVID, something that we in this modern world haven't seen at all. Man locked down for days, man locked down in house. For weeks, man locked down in house. You understand? And the NDC, the NNP as an organization was there, and they were able to channel us throughout that period. You understand? This party is a party with a foundation. You understand? They had.
What happened, caller? We lose you or what? It seems as though we lost this caller. We have a break. Don't know why, so please call back. While we're on that, I'm going to read a post from Facebook. Ken Smith. I'm a Barbadian living in the UK who is very much interested in politics within the region. This Grenada election is very interesting. Yes, this Grenada election is very interesting. it practically reminds me. We have the color back. The color you back. All right. No, we don't have the color back. Call again because we got broken off in the communication. We don't know if it's our fault, but please call back. So yes, the Grenada, we have a caller on the line. Caller Punch.
Yes, brother.
Yes,
I get cut off.
Yeah, welcome back.
What I was saying is that the NNP is like an institution. They have what it takes. You understand? They have the internet.
Break again. You cut off again. I don't know if it's we that cutting you off or if it's you that cutting off yourself. So we lost your caller. Sorry. Give us a call sometime later on. So yes, the Grenada election process seems to be slightly different from the rest of the Caribbean. Our election don't follow much convention. For instance, in St. Lucia, I think in the last 20 years, no party has gone more than one term. And you have about 3 people that were prime ministers in different political parties. So the political parties in St. Lucia seems to be well balanced in terms of experience. But in Grenada, all the individuals who have been winning seems to be on one side. Because the present government color, welcome, Punch.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre.
Yeah, my brother.
Yeah, and this, well, everybody say I know this about it. The reason why I support NP is because of stability. I don't like confusion. And with NP, everything just remains smooth, going right through here. We don't want to hear the mind somebody resign, you fire this and do that. And look at us for poor people, children. And that is my main aim is NP always turn to look after poor people, children. You don't leave them behind. So that means main reason for supporting NP is stability and looking at for poor people, children. Take care, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, sir. And I think this is a very powerful one. The gentleman said political stability. And the NNP seems to be more naturally inclined to look after the people in the lower socio-economic strata. Yes, caller.
Good afternoon.
Yes,
Pierre.
welcome.
Excellent weekend. I trust you have had a good weekend.
Great, man.
And thank you for giving us this opportunity so we can express ourselves. Mr. Pierre, you have a duty to remind some of your ardent listeners where you are. I walked into a store about 2 weeks ago and somebody was asking me for you. I told them where they can find you, but every now and again you need to remind them that,
Yeah.
your new diary.
Thank you.
I want to ask of us, please, as supporters, those on social media and whatever medium you use, let us be of good service and, representation to whoever we are supporting and assisting to push the cause forward. Because sometimes the thing we do and say, is a disservice to our candidate. And we are not really helping the cause. This is one thing I'm observing. Another thing is, as parents, as well-wishers, as elders, we have a duty and a responsibility to discipline our children. And those adults among us that we can help, we need to help them. I've been looking over the weekend, somebody showed me a video where some children in uniform that appeared to be from a school in the north was showing down a poster from one of the green. And the things they were saying, I don't understand why. Kids, yes, you want to express yourself, but to be doing that in your school uniform, it doesn't send a good message for your school. And it's okay if you feel you want to partake in the election and what is going on, but let us be a positive example. And let us know that when you do things like that and you record and you post, that the world is looking on, and we need to be positive examples to our peers, to our alma mater, to our teachers. And those who continue to destroy the poster is not helping. It really doesn't make sense. while yes, there are cases where maybe the rain might do some damages. I mean, there are people who can testify they're sitting on the veranda and, this person can see them and observing what is going on. Let us, be positive and let us learn from each other and teach each other as we go forward. God bless all of us, Grenada. Thank you, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, daughter, thank you very much. And you always bring out the softer side in me. And that's an important step for people to advise their children to be more disciplined, particularly now when social media will keep you on record for eternity. And sometimes I listen to radio programs over the years, over the last 6-7 years, and I say some of the radio programs preaching hate. They've been encouraging people to burn school bags that was given to Grenada. I don't know how the politician get it, but they was giving it out as gift, and they was encouraging on the radio to burn it. And some of the utterances that come from radio personalities, I believe, was totally unacceptable. And it's going to have the rippling effect on the ground. I was speaking to a brother in the rum shop. He didn't agree with me. So I say, go home and ask your children, the radio station you listen to, the program you listen to alone. Go and ask your children what they think about the characters that the personality was describing. We have a caller on the line, caller Punch.
Hey, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
A couple weeks ago, I was telling you that the way some of the elders are treating the young people. Mr. Pierre, after this, first of all, this group of young people that is running for the NDC now, they are very brave. Because I want to believe, after this group of young people, we will find it very hard for another group of young people to come into.
My brother, you will always find young people in politics, particularly in Grenada. You're going to always find them in politics.
But the battering, some of them is taking.
Well, in politics, I think three are the most battered person in Grenada politics in recent time is Kit Mitchell, Gregory Bowen, and Nazimbok. And there was no mercy on these individuals. And you have radio personalities battering individuals. So we practically lay a platform. But believe me, you're going to find more and more people coming in politics. Grenada politics seems to be different from the rest of the Caribbean. You have plenty action. And Grenadians like action. Yes, caller? Yeah, you have a lot of action in our politics. Over the years, this session is warming up like in the 70s, when it's getting very, very hot. And understanding it so, the National Democratic Congress have not won a seat in the last two elections, so they fine on all plugs. But I have no issue with youths. You're going to have youths in politics. And some of the people we calling young, they're even kind of old. Because United Nations have youths between 14 and 25. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome.
Yeah, I was trying to make some points there.
Yes, you got a cough. Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Getting cut off.
Go right ahead.
I don't know if it's my internet here that
maybe your internet was fluctuating.
Yes, but the point I'm trying to make is not a sensible thing. You understand, to change a government. You understand, that has been doing well around this time. You understand, because I'm talking about because of the uncertainty in this world. We might end up starving. You understand, because of the world situation. Because Miss Miyamati was down here recently, and she was certainties of the bigger nations cause us to have to be changing our views, changing our opinions, changing the way we do things consistently. You understand? So we cannot take those kind of promises for granted. We have something in place. I have nothing against Dick Mitchell or younger people or whatever it is. There are a lot of young people in NNP. You understand? But the reality is, you understand, the world economic situation ain't call for practicing politics these days. It calls for performing politics. That's my thought. Have a good day.
Yes, and then we have a sister, Linda Paul. She says that they tore down the pictures on her van. And she's accusing the NDC supporters. I guess what she had was NNP posters on a van, and she said they tore it down. So the leaders in the community, parents, you have to call on your younger ones. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome.
Yeah, my dear brother, how are you?
Yes, great man.
You know, I say to people, they could play a game of WAP if they want, they could play a game of play away if they want. But you see, we're coming to country, no complete country. Right? And you see, this election is the mother of all. And I asking Grenadians to vote wisely. I'll tell you something. I'm speaking on behalf of St. Andrews Northeast now. The lady have done so much thing for this constituency and nobody is saying nothing. Honorable Kate Lewis, I appreciate what you have done for St. Andrews Northeast. And I wish you well in your political endeavors. I love Grenada, Carrico, Pity, Martinique, and I will want to see the best for it. And for my children, Grenadians, don't fool. We've been there already. In 79. Let us don't go back there. Let's put Grenada in the hands of people we can trust. Have a nice day, my dear brother.
Yes, my brother. You know, the political expressions, is good at this time, and we could use that forum to express ourselves. We could also say why we want a particular party, why we supporting A or B, and etc. And that is important. We have another caller speaking about the children. She said, I saw the video of the children, and it looks bad, with people encouraging those children to do what they did. She said people was encouraging them. And this is where the society come in. Principals in schools. In Grenada, everybody pulled a political spear at this time. But leadership voices should be saying, nothing is wrong in pulling your political colors, but respect one another. And one of the ways you respect one another is to listen. Yesterday was World Communication Day, and the Pope declared it one word: listen. So listen to both sides. Respect the posters that are putting up, the radio personalities. Now, I have give a lot of leeway to politicians. When a politician is on a mic, we have call on line. Caller, welcome.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Go right ahead, my brother.
Yes, well, at least the politics get hot and the crowd is the issue right now. Everybody speaks about the crowd. But something I want to get into the mind of the people. When you listen to crowd in any political event, it's something you have to be happy about when you see crowd. But one thing we have to be very technical about. The both teams have support over 20,000+. So any team have a crowd within the 5 and 10,000. I think it wouldn't be any surprise to somebody that understands what's really going on in Grenada when it comes to politics. And shouldn't feel that's the end of it in that way, because the last two elections we saw crowds in the both teams very closely at times, although at certain times the NNP outrun them with crowds is concerned. But there is always this closeness with crowds is concerned, but the result has been so different.
I agree with you, caller, on that.
Yeah, and next thing I was speaking to an individual, he called me, after a brass of the NDC. Called me and telling me concerning the election. He was talking just about half an hour ago. And he was saying to me, the people right now don't go and vote for candidate. They don't voting for well anyway, they don't vote for candidate and
issues.
other things. But he said right now, the race is between the two leaders. That is the competition in the election this wrong. I said, so how you consider it? If you're really going for the leader, what is the chances you gain this? He said, well, then you see, go on them because they are the better leader. I said, what do you use to measure that betterment? How you really use it to compare that the one you're speaking of is better than the one that is there right now? What do you really have to come forward with? So we could really judge it on that point. We couldn't come with anything. I said, stop making games with yourself. I said, I'm certainly sure you're not convinced that the leader you have is capable of leading. You may just have a concept that we want a change. That is what I always use, and then try to just push. The one you have is better, which you don't have any factor about it. No factor at all. Because he had never led anything before that. You could say, well, shut up. He had been the leader of that, and he's the leader here, and he had done well. So perhaps we could take that chance and say he could be a good leader in case of Grenada. Because leading a country and leading a political party is two different. And he has not yet proven that he's capable of leading the NDC yet, because he doesn't reach in a stage where he could prove his leadership skills. He doesn't reach that yet. That is what I'm a little bit concerned about with the way a few Grenadians behave when it comes to he and his leadership. Because, yes, they was in a leadership crisis, so they had to get someone to make a leader. But then, when you're speaking about the leader of this country, you speak something far different when you get a leader for a party that was in a crisis for years, always changing a leader. So, right now, I don't believe one should try to persuade one and tell them in that context that you go for a leader of that week. Because at the end of the day, this thing is not a cricket club or a football club, like Grenada, and whatever happens there is not no one outside that's feeling it. We're just living right here. They have all the ball to ball or cry to cry. Have a good day, boss.
Yes, my brother, and that's a good point. And that's why I always encourage people to discuss issues. And you must have reason for what you're doing. One of the biggest challenges the National Democratic Congress have is leadership. They have suffered severely for leadership. Nothing is wrong in trying something new now. Nothing is wrong with that. But there is no comparison between the leadership. No comparison. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Yes, my brother.
Yeah, I feel kind of comfortable with what the gentleman just said to you.
Yeah, I thought he was on the ball, very objective. And,
I think this idea we have about leadership and to young to be a leader and whatnot, that is nonsense. Gary, leader, started up with union and he went in immediately into frontline politics. Winston White was one of the first youngest minister in the Caribbean.
First time we have a minister of youth and sports in the Caribbean was Winston White.
Right. So we have seen young people in frontline politics long before.
Well, you couldn't remember what was the age of Nadia and Whipple when they come in.
Exactly.
They were young people too, and they were married and, very progressive.
And they did it.
Emmeline Pierre came into pretty young.
Yeah.
And Emmeline Pierre was married since she was about 18 years.
That's right.
So she played big now.
Right. So this thing about who is young.
You had a next young one that was a preacher from St. David's. He was a young person too.
And this fella in Bolio ran for Gary to
yes,
right?
yeah. You always had young.
So this thing
Well, even Eric Gary and Maurice Bishop and them was in their 20s.
Exactly.
Mia Motley was 25.
There are people
so
that
40 years is not young in politics.
There are people that cannot lead and have been a failure in leadership.
I agree with you. There are people that don't know how to
was not a good leader.
Mr. Blaze?
Mr. Blaze was not a good leader. Mr. Braffit was not a good leader. Mr. Tillman Thomas tried, but he was not able to control his team.
George Brizan
had a good intention. Fortunately, he didn't make it for long.
What's about Ben Jones?
Ben Jones was not a good leader.
No. So who are the two best leaders that passed in Grenada?
The two best leaders right now would be Maurice Bishop, to an extent.
Maurice Bishop dead?
Yes. Well, you're talking about right now?
But not right now. Who's the two best? Well, yes, you must call that one, isn't it? Yes. But Maurice Bishop never made... One of the challenges Maurice Bishop had was management and leadership.
Yeah, Maurice Bishop.
His team broke up within 5 years.
Yeah, that's why I said he tried. Because if you check back, Maurice Bishop, personnel that killed him,
Well,
and there was a plot, inside because they said they wanted 2 leaders one time.
Well, he couldn't manage, he couldn't lead. So,
right? So you can't want 2 leaders one time. So the revolution mash up themselves. They mash up themselves. Dr. Mitchell make mistakes.
The only 2 leaders in Grenada.
That he shouldn't do.
The only 2 leaders in Grenada that make more than 1 term is Eric Gary and Kit Mitchell.
Yes.
And the 2 best political leaders in terms of achievement and success in Grenada in the last 100 years is Eric Gary and Kit Mitchell.
So then we have been speaking about young and whatnot. And what I'm saying is, I'm hearing some people that call themselves politicians making some statements. For instance, your man from Paraclete, Mr. Tennyson George, said that if he gets in as a politician, as a minister, the first thing he's doing is to cut all ministers' pay by $2,000. That is joke talk.
My brother, you were around this thing long. You remember the brother that said he's going to build a bridge from Grenada to Carriacou?
Yes.
And he sure you knew him. So he could say anything. So when some people know they can't win, they just go there for the excitement and the political attention.
Just imagine.
So you just ignore them.
The whole world is calling for increase in salary. Every sector of workers is calling for increase in salary because of the economy. And you go in and tell the nation that you're going to cut ministers' pay to bring in...
But Chief, these individuals know they can win. They just want attention.
Yeah, but
so sometimes the best thing to do is ignore them. Because when you speak about them, you're giving them attention. They just want some show.
They're telling other people that all over the state.
Well, yes, so the best thing to do is television. You just ignore them.
You go in. Yeah. So we have to stop that. I want again on Saturday, Sunday, Mr. Terry Forrester asking the NDC to send a letter to the person that gave the government the $25 million to make sure that they spend it correctly and they spend on campaign. Well, what authority can Mr. Terry Forrester of the NDC have to write to an organization, the World Bank, for giving greater money and tell them how to spend the money?
But again, you have to remember, there are some people, they end up in politics and they end up in the wrong place. You remember Uncle Gary used to say you're in the right church but the wrong pew.
Well,
and they get the attention train left them. Yes. So every now and then they say something for people to speak about them. And sometimes the best thing you could do is to ignore them.
When the government outline what the money will be spent on, the only way you have to think you could go to the
parliament. Every time we speak about these individuals, we give them the attention they want. It's like a girl walked down the road naked for people to talk about her. In yesteryear, nobody used to speak about the village clown. But now the village clown have all attention.
But when the girl walked down naked, some of us will still run to see her, you know.
That's possible. Yeah, my brother. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you. Yes, you can give us a call. And, yesterday was World Communication Day. And the team was listen. So we're listening to you. Give us a call and you speak on any issue. And Grenada politics is always an interesting one because it don't obey convention. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good day.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm good day to your listening audience. Mr. Pierre, touch a bit on public buildings here in Grenada, Mr. Pierre.
Public buildings?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Mr. Pierre, over the years, government have not been maintaining public buildings. For what reason? I don't know why. For instance, Mr. Pierre.
That statement is not necessarily true because the schools are public schools.
I'm talking about government, public building, administrative buildings.
You talk about administrative buildings.
And other buildings
as
well, close to that. For instance, the stadium, Mr. Pierre.
Yeah.
They have not been painting the stadium for years or even maintaining the stadium. Look at the Governor General residence in Mount Weatherdale.
That don't build back?
But they should do something about that than paying thousands of dollars in rent.
You see, caller, let's face some harsh, cold-blooded reality. The Governor General building was mashed up in Ivan. The Parliament building was mashed up. They built back the Parliament, but not the Governor General or the Prime Minister's building. So much as schools was damaged. You know, Grenada have to pay attention to what they think is critical and important. In addition to that, you have an economy in trouble. You have high unemployment. Government, I don't agree with government to take money and spend on the Governor General building if you could rent an appropriate building and invest money in the lower socio-economic strata.
So don't you think that the money they're spending on rent, Mr. Pierre, could have go towards a loan or building a building?
Not necessarily. Sometimes it's cheaper to rent.
To rent?
Yes. Sometimes it is cheaper to rent a building than to build you. Aye?
Most time they rent from the cronies, the party.
Who you want to rent for?
Rent.
So who you want to rent for, the enemy?
Rent from all Grenadians.
They might get a better deal from somebody who is more inclined to them. You wouldn't do the same thing?
Most time, yeah, they rent from...
Would you do the same thing? Would you go and rent a building from your deadly enemy?
So,
would you do that?
I would.
You would rent some building from your enemy?
So you would get him close to you?
Well, that's again, Uncle Gary said, keep your enemies near.
That's it.
So that's some. But generally, if government have to rent a building, they look for a suitable, appropriate building.
Right.
And there may not be much in the country.
Right. For instance, there's a number of buildings I want to mention.
Go right ahead.
The Parliament building is one, eh?
Yeah. We have a new Parliament.
Yeah, but...
The old Parliament building?
The courthouse. The court.
You have to mash up that and build a new building.
So why don't they use the York House, the Parliament, the last Parliament, to put the courthouse there? Why don't they put
They should put the courthouse in St. David's. You clog up St. George's too much. Take the courthouse and put it in St. David's at Guava, Victoria. Not in the town.
Too far from the town.
Grenada is 55 minutes distance from point A to point B. You don't clog up the town. Put the courthouse in St. David's.
No, that's too far.
Too far from what?
Around Spring.
Too far from what?
Woodland could work somewhere there.
No color. Bring it in St. David's. Bring it in Victoria. Bring it in Guave. That's when you countrify the tongue and you tongueify the country.
And last thing on buildings, you know the police station in Guave?
Yeah.
That right?
Well, they just have a medical health facility in Guave. The police station looking bad.
And Brush Grove, I think they should fix those police station.
Brush Grove don't need police station again. We have communication. The road is relatively good. You don't need police station in Brush Grove. The crime rate in Grenada is much better than other Caribbean countries. We don't need more police station. What you need is more community policing. Don't build back police station in Brush Grove.
So you would condemn all this building?
Are condemning the police station and mashing up this building where they want to and build a new structure, privatize it. Take out the courthouse in St. George's, bring it in St. David's. So you have less transport congestion. You know how much transport involved if you have the courthouse in St. George's? All the lawyers, all the thief, all the bandits, all the police are transport. Bring it in St. David's.
Talking about congestion, I think the hospital should be removed from there as well.
Well, we don't have money to remove the hospital now, so that had to leave there. One of the things you could do is to improve the medical stations, so you're going to cause less congestion in the hospitals.
So that's where primary health care comes in.
Grenada have one of the best primary health care programs in the Caribbean.
And
Google.
If only primary health care is closed.
Well, you know,
close at 5 o'clock in the night.
Well, people look at it. So what's wrong if you close at 5?
No, you should open at least 12 midnight or 24 hours.
Then you go in Maribor. But during the day, you deal with all the other issues. They go to Maribor in the night. The road is good. More ambulance service. You have telephone in pin.
Look, Mr. Pierre, I went to the city since 8 o'clock this morning to the general hospital. to do a checkup with someone here. And up to now, the person cannot leave yet.
How much hours you expect to wait in the hospital when you go for something? A checkup. Because a checkup is not emergency.
But
How much hours you expect to wait?
About 3 hours.
Yeah, I think 3 hours is reasonable. How much hours you think there is wait in New York, in Kings County
You
Hospital?
can't compare New York to Grenada, Mr. Pierre, in terms of population and all these things. You cannot compare.
Yeah, I think 3 hours waiting is reasonable.
Yeah. And last thing, Mr. Pierre, talking about Crusade, when you look at Granan's area and traffic during the day, evening, and morning, Mr. Pierre, there is an area when you go up on Mount Hartman there, that's behind cable and wireless there, that road. You go up on the hill. When you look down at Mount Hartman where the Chinese doing that hotel, why don't the government, Mr. Pierre, open a road from Chublu there, go right back to St. David's, Woodlands, Calivini? This is possible, so you could ease up some traffic. The Chinese should open that road for the government in the back there.
They want the Chinese open the road for the government?
Well,
We have to be careful what we're saying. You know.
Who doing business here?
We have the best network of roads in the region. The best network.
But
Grenada have the best network of roads in the region.
who build roads for the Jamaicans?
If government scholar, Grenada have the best network of roads in the region.
It's a Pierre. When you say network, I told you that before many times on the program. When you speak about network, you have to differentiate, you know, what you mean.
Grenada have the best network of roads in the region.
But
this is a fact.
We
And the quality of the roads is relatively good.
No.
We better than Dominica, better than St. Vincent, better than St. Lucia, better than Guyana, Jamaica, and Trinidad.
Mr. Pierre, you travel?
No, I don't travel, but I know. Always studying geography and reading.
Mr. Pierre,
Never travel.
You know St. Lucia have roads with 4 lanes?
Not the best network.
We're talking quality. We're talking quality.
So one of the ways we solve Grenada have more vehicles. You know, in the last 10 years, we practically double the amount of vehicles we have. 100,000 people,
Right.
40,000 vehicles.
So if you're bringing in vehicles, then you should open bypass and other roads.
All I'm doing is to raise taxes on some luxurious vehicles and drop tax on bike and motorbike cycle. Too much. Grenadians investing in too much vehicle.
So what the government doing with the tax they collect from the
That's going to help the people in the lower socio-economic strata, to help the education system.
Nothing is going back into the roads.
The roads in Grenada are looking good. When last you travel?
We've been patching roads since I born, Mr. Pierre.
Well, nothing wrong in patching road. That is a continuous process.
It's outdated.
No! You will continue to patch road. When the road, you just patch it. Put some tar. Nothing wrong with the road.
You see the piece of road they do in St. Patrick's, the rehabilitation there?
You talking about Google Belly Hill?
Yeah, and Mount Street.
And you pass Got and go Blaise?
That's what we
You don't see the road in Blaise?
We need a road like this.
Well, then this thing have to go on the tourist magazine.
Yes, it's a
Blaise have electricity, telephone, water, internet, and spectacular roads and views.
Yes, so let me down here. But you see that piece of road we're talking about in St. Patrick's? That's how road should be, Mr. Pierre.
Well, that's it. And 9 grade it is?
Huh?
What about those in Belmont? With the bridge?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So we need more roads like this across the nation.
Yeah,
So people
that's
can
it.
get to work safe and ride in comfort.
Yeah, and quick.
Yes, unless...
Yeah. And the police have to give drivers more ticket.
Right.
As soon as you cross it, like drop ticket on you.
Yeah, you have to be...
So you behave yourself better.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, caller.
About
Yeah. We have to solve our problem. We have to have confidence in ourselves and believe we could solve a problem. And sometimes we tear and say Grenada asunder. We must always do comparability. We have a caller on the line. Caller, we listen.
Yes, Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, my brother, we listen to you.
The caller who just called, he asking you about if you ever travel.
Well, you know...
But the fact about it is that if he ever travel, he just close the eyes when he passing in some of the places where he ever went.
Right now, you don't have to travel to know what's going on in a country. Because that is what the tourists do. They know your country. We get the map. And once you get the map, you could know what's going on.
Two-step in Trinidad then. I just go back and forth. The best part of Trinidad road is on the highway. And they have the material to fix road. Some of the inside road is worse than what we have.
You don't notice, you don't see we village road now? How you looking nice?
Like the color dotish.
No, you don't dotish, you just
you're just trying to be funny.
No, it's important. We listen. Remember the communication, world communication, they say listen. So we listen to one another.
You're talking about health here and how many hours you have to wait. If you don't have an insurance and snatch of board a hospital in America, that's the first thing they ask you for. Do you have an insurance? Yes, and they hustle you to what they want to get. And if you don't have it, you sit down there for 11 hours, 12 hours.
And a number of people has been waiting on free health care. Hours they camping to get free health care in the great America.
Yes. Our network of road is one of the best in the Caribbean.
Best in the region.
In the region.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where we go, what we do. We have one of the best network of roads in the Caribbean. What could link from one village to another in less or no time. We could do that. You cannot go in St. Vincent and do that. You cannot ride wrong St. Vincent.
Dominica, St. Lucia, Trinidad. Only Barbados come after.
And think. But he's trying to compare it. In Trinidad, when you talk about Trinidad per square mile is about 1,964,000 square miles, something, or 94,000 square miles, something so. When you put that together against Grenada sitting down inside Trinidad 16 times. Get the average amount of square miles that Trinidad contains and get Grenada own and divide it. Grenada sitting down inside Trinidad 16 times. So what he comparing about Grenada and Trinidad with road and what Trinidad...
But it's always important.
They have big long stretch of lands from Trinidad from Port of Spain to San Fernando. When you ride in that, you think you're in some part of America or Canada or England. And think. So people when they're speaking, they must think that it's not them alone that is listening or saying what they want to say. That there are people who does travel, but sometimes we sit in a corner and we don't say nothing.
Thank you, Colin. There are some fundamentals in Grenada that we must not go, tearing and criticizing unnecessarily. Electricity, telephone, water, and internet service in Grenada is second to none. It is comparable with the best, and it's better than most. Grenada have the most land owners in the region, and that is significant. You cannot build nothing in the sky. It means that irrespective of your income, the majority of people have lands and they could plant a little thing. They could turn their hand. They could help to supplement their income. Over the last 10, 12 years, we double the amount of vehicle we have. We have some of the best police in the region based upon the ability to solve crime and violence. Of the 30 countries in the world with the worst crime rate, 9 of them from the Caribbean, Grenada not involved in it. And Grenada have some of the best politicians in the region. Why do I say that? Grenada has been described as a land of conflict. Only 2 politicians in the last 100 years in Grenada were able to survive more than 1 term. Look at the quality of the politicians that you have. It is true some of them, by the time you hand them the baton followed and they break lane. But I have a soft heart for politicians because I think among the professionals, they are the deepest thinkers. They are the most conscientious people. They empathize, most compassionate. So these things is a fact. And we have to acknowledge it. And caller, we listen to you. Yes, caller, we listen.
Yeah, good morning.
Go right ahead.
Pierre. Yeah, brother Pierre, I was listening to the early last night artist, last weekend. Revenue Prime Minister, you know, like I spoke about the pension and to transfer the pension before the end of this year. And I feel that is wonderful. Because see, the government know how to solve problems and they know and they know and they understand what to do. Because when you have a party and they united and everybody come together, it makes it as easy and to solve problems easier. Because see, with the leader, with the vision that the leader have, and the children understand the vision, they walk along with the leader with the vision, and they could get problems solved easily. And I'll say yes. Yes, you vote for young people going to politics. But what is important? Why are you getting to politics? Are you getting to politics to serve yourself or to serve people? And politics is about people, and you have to get into politics. When you come to politics, you don't come to politics to serve yourself. Because as I can say, if you come into politics as a wrong person, you will know what will happen. You will try to fix yourself up before you fix other people, fix others, people who support you. And then you have to know the people that you want to elect. You have to know people, and people have to know you, and they have to know your need. Right? Because I always say, when it came to politics, and an election call, that election over, and you have to serve everyone. Those who vote for you and those who don't support you, you have to reach out and help them. Help them. And I want to say again to people, as we go, as the election get closer, let us be humble, let us humble ourselves. Every one of us have an opinion. Every one of us have a choice to who to support and who not to support. And when posters stick up, leave the posters, leave it there. Because when you do that, you know what you're doing? You're bringing a hatred between the parties. And I always say, call upon leaders, encourage your supporters not to tear it down. Other people post, your opponent poster, leave it. And if leaders continue to allow this to happen, that's showing the people that that person is not ready to lead. A leader has to take action and discipline people the supporters who do the wrong thing to other people. A leader should not still don't allow children to, like, in a home, as a father, as a mother, you cannot allow your children to do the wrong things and embracing them. As the Bible said, I love the sinners, but you have to hate the things. And leaders, you have to hate the things the supporters doing, but still love them. So you have to also encourage them not to vandalize the opponent posters and to always demonstrate a respect to those that hate. And those who don't, those that do not respect them, and those that you don't love also have to respect them. Because I always say respect is not something that you take, it's something that you earn. So we simply have a blessing.
Thank you, caller. And somebody said the children learn what they leave or something and check the home. And that's a fact. We have a caller on the line. Caller Punch.
Hello?
Yes, my brother Punch.
Yes, man. It's a blessing. I've been trying to get up for the longest while.
Yes, thank you.
So let me say, first of all, I must say that I'm happy to be on your call for the program for the first time.
Welcome.
I really appreciate the message. I really appreciate what you're doing right now. Now, my purpose of calling today is especially to give my 2 cents on what I think, is happening now as we're in this election season. I would like to speak directly to my fellow brothers and sisters that support the New National Party. Now, as we know, this party has a track record of delivering the goods to the Grenadian people, right? But we also know that right now, we can't just sit and, say that the party does deliver and, expect us to bring home the victory. We have to work hard. We have to continue to keep doing what we're supposed to do on the ground and make sure that, election day, we bring our family and our friends to vote. You understand? We can't keep on just saying that the party is going to win 15 seats and that, we win already and get complacent. So I just want to talk to my fellow brothers and sisters and remember, this is a competition. And in a competition, you have to fight until the last, the last flag fall. So we go in right through until June 22nd, and That's when we're going to decide who win and who don't. So as for now, we have to try to make sure that everybody that we know is a supporter of the party. We have them ready and get to go through that June 22nd, June 23rd. All right?
Thank you, Colin.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and on the 23rd, no campaigning. And the posters close to the polling station will be moved. And remember, we have the best electoral process in the whole region. And the reason I say that, no opposition who lose has ever challenged successfully in the court. And within 24 hours, they concede defeat. And we could prevent, we have a call on the line, caller Punch.
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking my call. And
yes,
to
my
the last caller, brother Bob, I want you to know that your point is well taken, my brother. And from past experience, your past experience, I can tell you that is exactly what we are doing presently in the northwest, southwest, northeast, and southeast in St. Andrew. Quickly, Mr. Pierre, I never believed I would have lived to see the day when a party that George Prison built from the ground up, I never thought I would have lived to see the day when it would have been sold to the highest bidder. And what is ironic and unfortunate about the situation is when the bidder, the highest bidder which has been sold to, does not look like us. Have a pleasant day, sir.
Yes, it's important for you. Both parties now have a lot of tension, and they're going to go after one another throat. The personalities on the radio station could significantly help calm down the group. You are not running for election. Even if you align with a party, you could cool down the momentum and encourage people to behave themselves. We have too much radio personalities preaching hate constantly. We had people for years on radio station asking people to burn bags, cussing the church. And these things have rippling effect. As I was saying, I told my friend, go home and question your children about the characters that are criticized. And he was shocked the amount of bitterness and hate his children had. Brothers and sisters, we have to listen. Listen to one another. Respect one another. And this is a good time to hold discussions in your home. Because if the parents have venom, the children would also have venom. And we're back again tomorrow with you between 12 and 1 for another opportunity to listen.
Sound of victory drum. Our ethnicities, the bonds that unite us are stronger than these. We dine, we pray, we love, we dance and we play. We relate to each other, the West Indian way. Today as a people united as one, determined and steadfast we stand. We look to a brand new horizon, the future now firmly in our hands. Raise your voices high and sing of your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud and strong, feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrating song as we rise to heights where we belong. Sound of victory drum for Caricom.
Triple N. Informative, entertaining, and first. Every hour on the hour.
This is the latest news update produced by Triple N. Details when we get back.
The Rotary Clubs in Grenada introduce the Good Neighbor Initiative, a program designed to assist individuals and families who require short-term assistance with electricity bill payment and the cost associated with rewiring of homes due to fires and natural disasters. If you or someone you know is in need of help, please visit our website at www.goodneighborinitiative.org. The Good Neighbor Initiative, helping individuals and families with short-term electricity bill payments and electrical wiring. One neighbor at a time.
Welcome back. Locally, the Ministry of Health is encouraged by the number of COVID-19 recoveries following a recent spike in positive cases. In the region, public servants in Tobago who are against the government's 2% wage offer will express their dissatisfaction as of early this week. More in this report.
Public servants in Tobago who are against the government's 2% wage offer will express their dissatisfaction as of early this week. Public Services Association Industrial Relations Officer for the Tobago region, Hayden Duke, said the plight of workers in Trinidad is the same for workers in Tobago.
It's totally disgusted. We feel totally disrespected. And as such, it being one PSA, the members in Tobago will operate in no wise different from our colleagues in Trinidad. As early as 6 p.m. tomorrow, public servants will take the necessary action to show their disgust for what they have been given as an offer by the government of the day and the CPO.
On Friday, hundreds of workers led by the heads of their respective unions